Hi, and welcome to our discussion about perspective. So, in terms of art, a linear perspective is the use of line and a horizon line and a vanishing point in order to show depth. So, it's one of the most fundamental concepts in art, and it is what makes two-dimensional things look three-dimensional. Now, with perspective drawing, there are a couple of rules that need to be followed. So, there are major components to drawing in perspective, and one is that you need to have a horizon line. So, in this example, it is this line right here where the sky meets kind of the ground. You also need a vanishing point, which is the point at which all of the lines seem to converge or meet. You also have edge lines or shapes, and that is the shape of the objects that are facing you. And then orthogonals are the lines that kind of go off into the distance and meet at the vanishing point. Now, again, the horizon line is where the land and the sky appear to meet. And it's usually across the entire canvas or the entire artwork. But the horizon line does not need to be flat, and it can be either near the top, the bottom, or the middle of the picture plane. Now, with the vanishing point, that is where objects come together and appear to disappear. So, vanishing points are often on the horizon line, and an artwork can have more than one vanishing point. So, when you hear people refer to one point perspective, we are talking about one vanishing point. When you hear 2 point perspective, we are talking about two vanishing points. And then any parallel lines in your piece will converge or will meet at the vanishing point. Now, there are also edge lines and shapes. So these are the edge of the object that you will want to make look three-dimensional. And these can be anywhere on your picture plane, depending on, kind of your concept and your look. They can be straight or wavy lines. And straight lines are a little easier to draw in perspective, but there's also a technique for drawing wavy lines, which we'll talk about. Now, the orthogonals are those lines that point back to the vanishing point. So they are the lines right here that would be parallel, but as they go off into space, they meet at that vanishing point. However, not all orthogonals go all the way to the vanishing point, and they must stop when they hit another orthogonal or shape. So that's really important if you're drawing a cityscape where you have multiple buildings. You don't want to create, like see-through buildings. You want to make sure that your orthogonals stop where the next building starts. And these orthogonals are what give the shape or the sense of depth. Now, when you are using orthogonals with a curved shape, such as a circle, you want to make sure that you have them going from the outermost part of the shape. So in this top example, this is correct. These orthogonal lines are moving from the outermost part of the circle. Whereas in this example, this is incorrect because this orthogonal line hits the circle kind of like at the top third here. Whereas this part would be more of the outermost part of the shape. Now, a couple of things to remember. Not all orthogonals will go all the way to the vanishing point. Some will stop when they hit other shapes or other orthogonals, or some will simply stop because the shape is not long enough to appear or disappear. So let's say you were drawing just one building. You wouldn't have the building appear to go off into infinity. You would need to stop those orthogonals and erase, the back of the shape so that you have an end to your structure. Now, in this example, we have, again, the four main parts: our horizon line here, our vanishing point, our edge lines, and our orthogonals. Here's the same picture with detail. So artists also use, color and shadow and detail and overlapping in order to show depth. So some other examples of 1 point perspective, and you should be able to pick out the horizon line, the orthogonals, the vanishing point, and the shapes in each of these. Another example. Another. So before the invention of perspective, artists used other methods in order to create space and artwork. However, paintings still looked very flat and very close to the viewer. We didn't quite yet have the understanding of how to make things appear to look three-dimensional. So as you can see, everything was a little flat. Here's another example. So artists did use a lot of overlapping in these scenes, but still you don't have that same sense of depth as you do with perspective. So there are other ways that artists will demonstrate space, such as using overlapping, size, position, and detail. So with overlapping, you are placing one object in front of the other, and the object on top will appear to be closer to the viewer. With size, the larger the object, the closer it will appear. Okay, so even very large buildings will appear small in the distance. And the closer objects are, the larger they appear. Now with position, usually things that are on the lower part of the picture plane appear closer to the viewer, and then objects that are towards the top appear further away. Such as this example. Now, artists can also use detail to show space. So when things are closer to us, we will be able to see more of the detail. And when they are further away, such as the trees in the background here, the details are a little blurred. So your assignment, you are actually going to be able to choose from multiple assignments. So there will be a choice board for you. I do want you to choose something that is a challenge, however, and I will make sure to include projects that are a range in difficulty so that you can choose something that will be challenging to you. So look for that choice board on our class webpage, and then you can get started with that.